All right, everybody. This is the second part to the Black Family series. I'm gonna finish reading this, and then after that, I'm gonna put my own editorial comments on a third piece that's gonna hit every topic that I mentioned. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and cover the religious part, how the government infiltrated our religion. So, hope you enjoy. Hope you're learning. That's the key thing. All right. So, it is well recognized that many black families have become very involved within religious services and retain a relationship with God. However, as many blacks were subjected to the phrase of he that knoweth his master will and doeth it not shall be beaten with many stripes. The Christian foundation which was set forth in America never changed. Instead, the racism that was displayed was embodied within the black communities, and the idea of being oppressed while turning the other cheek was established as a traditional value of high ground for many black families. Yet there were also many black families who did not approve of this religious rhetoric of being passive to the white man's brutality through religion. However, black families that did submit to religion usually did in hopes that God would eradicate racism and provide a better future for their children. Still, understanding the government's role in the destruction of the black families through education, income, and religion is not an easy concept to accept. It's not easy to accept that everything that we have embodied within our spirits that has made us into the individuals that we are, that everything that we based our parents' strength upon has been actually injected by the government's uh, need in order to oppress us. So let me read that again. Still understanding the government's role in the destruction of the black families through education, income, and religion is not an easy concept to accept. And considering how blacks out of slavery gained prosperous positions through education, income, and religion and will and were infiltrated by the government means that those who had the slave master mentality had their hand within its destruction. Hatred toward black families had never been a secret because unity could possibly bring about the demise of the slave master mentality. In efforts to always destroy black unification of families, the government, just like the slave master, began to divide black males and females apart through economical prosperity. Historically, the government, since blacks' arrival in the 17th and 18th century, have always systematically set to oppress blacks. When African American families thrived building their educations, the government implemented some institutions greater than others, and in the process left many black universities out of the equations. Black men who achieved degrees from these certain universities, such as Morehouse, were left with less income than white individuals. Currently, this has not changed for black males in America, and still, according to the Center for Progress, they, blacks, continue to face systematically higher unemployment rates, fewer job opportunities, lower pay, poor benefits, and greater job instability. These persistent differences reflect systematic barriers to quality jobs, such as outright discrimination against African American workers, as well as occupational segregation, whereby African American workers often end up in lower paid jobs than whites. So that's occupational segregation. This happens all the time, whereby African American workers often end up in lower paid jobs than whites. And segmented labor markets in which black workers are less likely than white workers to get hired into stable, well paying jobs. The United States government's strategy to keep black people within a certain marginal income to suppress the black families could only have occurred after integration. This means to suppress certain universities such as Morehouse to be less valued than Harvard or Yale was the first great blow toward destroying the unification of the high level of black income that kept blacks above the poverty lines. In conclusion, with the destruction of black educational value not being equivalent to the white man's universities, income dropped, and the black family structure started to dissolve. Women who had once stayed home with the children while black men went to work were now in the labor market doing similar tasks that they had done during slavery, cleaning houses, whatnot, and so forth. Black men who felt ashamed and less valued because income had started to perish within the labor market had now turned to criminal activity. The same government who had instituted slavery were now pushing drugs within black communities to destroy the black families that had once illustrated hope for all future black generations. Left with poverty, crime, and little opportunities for success, black men became targets for the police, and eventually this tore the infrastructure and identity of the black families. The United States government's systematic racism to destroy the black families has always been the agenda, but more importantly, has always been the threat of the white slave master. I want y'all to really just think about what I said. You don't have to like me, but this is just a brief analysis. This is the second part. And the third part is going to be a lot heavier because it's going to be my own voice. It's going to be my own experiences. I mean, I'm not a little boy anymore. You know, some of y'all still reflect upon, when John was just a clown in class or was a little boy, you know what I'm saying? And whatever the case may be. I'm a black male. I'm out here just like y'all. I'm a threat. I didn't have handcuffs put on me. Have I ever been, have police ever used extreme force on me? Absolutely. I mean, your daddy, your mommy, they can't stop that. Your sisters, your brothers, they can't stop that from happening. You know what I'm saying? But you got to wise up. I cannot keep emphasizing what I'm trying to emphasize to y'all. We're lost. Like, people don't want to hear that. We're lost. We should be ashamed of ourselves. How we're acting. How we've letting this shit get as far as it is. This country belongs to black people. It's ours. But yet instead we need merits of approval from the white man. We need merits of approval from the credentials that they give to us through their educational system, through their religious acceptance of turn the other cheek. Man, we don't need that. That's not who we are. But first we need to go to the foundation. The foundation is black families. Keep your head up. I'm going to get back with you. Peace and love, brothers and sisters.